Welcome back to another Monday Masterclass. I'm Lily.
I'm Sam.
And we're here. So, let's begin. Today we are talking about how being busy impacts your productivity, your body, your brain, your health, your happiness, and so much more. So, first of all, right, what is going on in the body is impacting in your body, your physical body, with hormone levels and communication internally, as well as exclusively also your brain. Brain chemistry being a huge piece of what is guiding all of these shifts and changes to happen. So we're going to talk a little bit, because there's a lot that goes on. So we're going to touch on a little bit of it, because we got 30 minutes to teach you. But we wanted to start with, actually Sam has this great explanation for what it feels like to feel chronically stressed, so that you can kind of find that feeling in your body, so that as we're going through this, you can identify, how you're being impacted. Yeah, Sam.
All right, so we're going to go through a couple different signs of maybe you're experiencing, just being really busy. And, if you can relate to this, maybe we can look into this. So have you ever, you start to just kind of forget things or misplace things, or you lose track of things, and you got so many things juggling and going on, and maybe you are late to a meeting, you're late to a meetup, you're late to something, or you're about to be, or you're just stressing yourself out in that moment, and you dart out of your house and you realize that you forgot your wallet and your phone. So you get halfway through your hallway, and you come back in, and then you grab your phone and your wallet, and then you're just so flustered that you run out of there again, and then you realize that you left your keys there because because you're grabbing your phone and your wallet, and you're thinking about everything else that was going on, and then all of a sudden maybe you could have been on time, maybe you would have only been 1 or 2 minutes late if you took that chance to breathe. And now you are 10, 15, 20 minutes late, and now you're in a terrible mood. You're cutting people off on the freeway. It's just a big mess. So if that has ever happened to you, or if that is, a feeling that you've experienced, and maybe it's not that exact example, but something that you experience throughout the day, forgetting things because you are trying to be so focused on everything else that's going on around you. This is because your cortisol levels, they're going to be increased, and Lily's going to talk a little bit more about cortisol in just a sec, but this gets released when you're stressed, and it can damage the brain over time. So living in this high cortisol state is going to give some sort of brain damage, along with many other things are going to happen, and this can lead to memory problems over time. So this forgetfulness, if you're feeling it frequently, look into that stress level, look into, am I too busy? And there are many effective ways to manage your stress, but you can only do this after you actually notice and admit that you are stressed out and you are busy. A lot of us want to just sweep that away and not unpack it. But that's when the biggest change is, you first need to notice and admit to yourself that I might be a little stressed, I might be a little busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to say?
Yeah, so that was just the first example. So another example I want to talk about is waking up feeling like you are super tired. So let's say you feel like you're getting plenty of sleep, and you're pretty sure that you slept good, but you're waking up and you're feeling very drained and exhausted. So this could be another sign of high stress. And morning fatigue is a sure sign that you are overworked, that you are overstressed, and that you are overscheduled. And you've gone to bed, and maybe you shut your eyes early, but your mind is busy and your nervous system wasn't able to calm down. So that if you feel like you're sleeping but you're not getting any rest, and you're waking up with that morning fatigue, that this could also be an indicator.
Yeah. So something that I wrote in these notes today, this thought that I had was even that story, that image that you walked us through of you leave the house, you're super stressed, you have like a million things going on in your head, that whole experience. Chronic stress, chronic busyness, I would relate it to trying to work while you're drunk or trying to think clearly while you're exhausted. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a big difference between having thoughts and like being passionately attached to them versus thinking clearly. And oftentimes when we are in a state of depletion, we haven't eaten, we're hangry, we can feel more passionate in a conversation about something. But that doesn't mean that if we were in a nourished state, if we had eaten well, taken care of our blood sugar that day, paid attention to our stress levels, cortisol, right? How that would impact our ability to think clearly, to feel aligned with the decisions that we're making. So I just wanted to bring that up as an example, that it's like trying to work while drunk. So specifically what's going on is, on top of these cortisol releases, the body in a chronic stress mode, in any stress mode, is in what we call, what you typically have heard called fight or flight mode. And what that is, let's talk about what exactly that is. Our bodies and our brains have different, I guess you could say, states of mind, different modes of operation. And we have evolved in certain ways over time. And certain mechanisms are really helpful for ways that we've evolved. So the fight or flight response, there's actually more than just fight or flight. It's typically either fight or flight or freeze or fawn, and we'll break those down a little bit more in just a minute. But what is going on is that we are in literally our reptilian brain, which is a part of our brain that came prior to the development of what we would consider our current consciousness and language capabilities, communication, external communication, I guess, capabilities, with the prefrontal cortex. So is to protect us. The reptilian brain's job is to protect us, keep us safe. It's focused 100% on survival and nothing else. So it is concerned with how do I keep you alive so that you can make babies so that humans can keep existing. That's its concern. So when we are chronically stressed and we're running around and we are in that reptilian brain state of mind, we can make decisions that we might not feel great about later. We can choose to do things, we can choose to eat foods or hang out with people who maybe we might not have made that decision in a healthier, more nourished place. And so what I want to talk about is this. Well, I'm curious, and I want you to let us know in the comments, and hi Vanessa, welcome. Have you ever experienced feeling so busy that, or overwhelmed, right? Or maybe your to-do list was like so large that day that you either, one, procrastinated. So type a 1 in the comments if you have felt so overwhelmed that you've procrastinated, even though you have a ton to do. Or 2, you have tried to please everybody but yourself as a performance response or as a survival response, right? So procrastination is an example of freezing, and fawning, right, is, or trying to please everyone is an example of fawning, right? Like just trying to get by and I don't want to get hurt. So this is so common for women especially, right? Because of the differences, the polarity in our biology, our physiology between men and women, between the male and female bodies. And so Sam and I are really passionate about talking about these differences, right? Because so often we hear fight or flight mode, and we don't always experience things that way, although because so often we are expected to show up in the world as women as if we have a male body, as if we can operate the same way, perform the same way, as if we have the same hormonal cycles. We don't. As if we have the same, circadian rhythms, and daily rhythms and monthly rhythms. We really don't. So if you've ever experienced either of those things, yeah, I see a 2 in the comments from Quinn Ann, absolutely. If you have procrastinated or tried to please everybody. So as I said before, the reptilian brain is literally only concerned with survival. And as far as it knows, as far as your reptilian brain knows in that state of stress, continuing to be busy is working, as in it's working to keep you alive. It's working to help you survive. It's working to help you make babies or help you stay alive so that you can make babies. But in the moment, I can't tell you how many people I have worked with over the years who had infertility problems, and the number one contributor to their fertility problems was stress. Because when we are in that mode, it's about surviving so that when we're in a calm place, we can make a baby. But in the stress place, we can't make babies. That's, nope, not gonna happen. So I guess that's kind of the difference, is that the stress phase can be a helpful thing in short bursts. But when we are chronically busy, chronically stressed, right? Our bodies don't have time for the rest and rejuvenation that's necessary in order to help us perform at our optimal, perform at our best, feel good about our decisions. Sam, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so those are great points. So another sign that you want to look out for is headaches. So I know a lot of women are experiencing headaches, and this headache is going to come from, symptoms of high stress. And this is a part of your body that is contracting through these stress. And muscle spasms are actually happening throughout your neck and your shoulders and your back, and this discomfort is coming from it, and this is what's causing the stress and the tension, the spasms. The tension and the spasm is causing the headaches through the tension. So if you're experiencing, headaches frequently, and you're like, where is this coming from? Like, I feel like, I'm drinking enough water, or I feel like I am eating okay.
Or I exercise
like, what is going on? Maybe it's looking into just your day-to-day activities and how you're feeling throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So another sign that you are too busy is maybe you are experiencing anxiety. And I just have to say that word alone, I had no idea I had anxiety and I had it my whole life through childhood, etc., until I was a parent already for multiple years. Until I had a kid who we already spent a couple years together, and I stumbled on a meme talking about what anxiety can look like in moms, and I was floored. So I think even the word anxiety, you may not even realize that you are experiencing it or what it looks like. So here's the thing. Maybe you are like me, and sometimes it shows up as a stomach ache or nausea, like a light nausea. That can actually be a sign of anxiety or clinical depression even, when it gets way too out of control. A little bit here and there, probably anxiety. So what is going on? And by the way, depression I would relate to depletion, and that's a whole other conversation. We can talk about that another day. But maybe you're like me, maybe you're like one of our clients, Meg, where the daily stress just from parenting, and then also running a business, and then also, being a single parent, and then also maybe you're trying to go to school, maybe you're also working other jobs to support your business, like all of these different plates to balance, right? And what I found interesting, I was looking up some numbers and stats before now, and it seems like around 41, there was a study where around 41% of the participants in a psychological trial who had nausea, that 41% of the people in that trial who had nausea, that the nausea was from anxiety. And that, to me, when I saw that number, I was just blown away that so often we can experience these physical sensations that we think have nothing to do with what's going on in our minds or how we are leading our lifestyle, right? When in actuality, everything is always interconnected.
That's interesting you bring that point up. And it reminds me of when I had my e-commerce business and I was doing all of these things. I wasn't taking care of my health, and everything that I was feeling inside, I just kept stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. And I remember when I hit my breaking point, I was getting nosebleeds, and I had never gotten nosebleeds my entire life. And then right before I just quit everything and hit my absolute rock bottom, nosebleeds just kept happening. So yeah, it literally will physically come out of your body in one way or another.
Absolutely. Our bodies are brilliant at communicating with us, and always, especially in metaphors. So what's one more sign, final sign?
Yes.
Too busy?
So this one I can also relate to when I was going through just chronic stress and being busy and feeling burnt out, was this vague feeling of unhappiness. And it wasn't something that showed up a ton. It wasn't something that I really, noticed. When you go through so many days and just kind of, I feel a little bit down, or I feel a little heavy today, and you don't really know why, and you feel like there should be no reason, that everything in life is okay, but you still have that sensation. Stress is going to cause a roller coaster of emotions that are going to affect your body. It's going to affect your hormone levels. So this vague, underlying feeling of unhappiness tends to come from something is out of misalignment, or something is, you're taking too much on, and it's causing that stress, and you're not filling yourself with passion or fulfillment throughout the day. And there's nothing wrong with fulfilling your responsibilities. There's nothing wrong with showing up for your obligations. But when do we draw the line between working for a living and living for work? So that is just one other thing to, think about.
Dang. Mic drop. So we want to know who here identifies with being too busy. So maybe you feel guilty for wanting more free time, maybe, or more self-care, more joy, wanting more fulfillment. Maybe you check out rather than feeling engaged with your life. I can relate to that one. And especially after a long day. There have been times when it's time to put my kid to bed, and I had worked so hard that day, or I had lost so much energy that day, that I realized I'm kind of useless right now. And it's one of the most important pieces of my day is this time with my kid. Maybe you work really hard to make money, but at what cost to your health? At what cost to your freedom? At what cost to your relationships? Or maybe you know that if you had the ability to lower your stress and take care of your health, you would become literally a magnet to an abundance of pleasure, an abundance of connections, an abundance of aligned friendships, aligned relationships, an abundance of the expansion of your impact, whether it's with your business or any project you're working on, any relationship you're cultivating or building, any hobby you're exploring, any habit change you're making in your life. Literally, your ability to show up in every single aspect, in every capacity, is impacted by how busy we are. And what the long-term effects can look like of continuing to be chronically busy, chronically stressed, are way more serious than maybe most of us realize. I mean, Sam mentioned earlier the memory loss and brain damage that can happen just from the cortisol, excess cortisol release. So the memory loss, there could be heart or blood vessel problems such as cardiovascular disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythms. I experienced that a lot as a kid, actually, the abnormal heart rhythms. Every so often still will surface. Or something even as serious as a heart attack or stroke. But even just the foundational piece of the high stress lifestyle exacerbating any mental health irregularities or imbalances, like we all deal with mental health and balancing that, absolutely every single one of us. But to exacerbate anxiety, to exacerbate depression, to exacerbate any other risk factors just from stress, especially for anyone else who is a fellow spoonie, anyone dealing with autoimmune or hidden or chronic illness, where we only have so much energy in a day, and we can do things to help us have more energy and better focus, better performance, or we can do things that take away from those things. And we're doing both. As part of the lives that we live, we have to do both things. I think that so often we focus on what to do to move something forward that we can literally see the results of in front of us. And it can feel a little bit more detached or detached to think about the connection between, when I rest, when I relax, when I have rejuvenation, when I can sleep and my body can rebuild tissues, damaged tissues, when I can reduce inflammation, when I can breathe and slow down, what's going on inside of my head and my body right now, that the long-term impacts of that are just as meaningful as the short-term impacts, right? And the short-term impacts are much more powerful than I think most people realize. I can tell you how many times, even, Sam and I catch ourselves or catch each other sometimes, where it's like we're getting really deep into something, we're working hard on something, and, maybe one of us or both of us notice something, and we're like, do you think it's time to, go relax by the pool or have a dance party? Do you think it's time to should we have a little break here just so that this energy can be sustained? And it can feel I
feel like that's
it can feel
key
so
thing
hard.
you just said, so the energy can be sustained.
Yes.
We'll go 8, 9, 10-hour, 12-hour work days, and we'll do that one back to back to back to back. And then all of a sudden you're on work day number 5, and it is taking you 5 hours to get something done that you can normally get done in 5 minutes when you are refreshed and relaxed and rejuvenated. I think that was a really, really key point that I want to just stick in you.
So let's talk about what to do to really, it's balancing your hormones, reducing stress, taking care of that relaxation, rejuvenation piece. So first of all, Sam and I, clearly, I'm a nutritionist and she's a personal trainer, so our two biggest passions in how we can help women with this is in nutrition and fitness. However, most nutrition and fitness advice on the market is based on research that was done on men's bodies, on male bodies, and by male-bodied people, by men. That happens all the time. All the time. News anchors, people will read a study and they'll be like, oh, it must mean this. Oh, no. But most of the time what happens is that these studies that are done on men are then told to women, or women will read them and be like, oh, really? Intermittent fasting, that's my solution for energy, huh? It's my solution for weight loss and hormone balancing. Meanwhile, Sam and I are over here going, oh my God, don't. Because we are very passionate about teaching female physiology-based science, health science. That is nutrition, fitness, and so much more. So what to do to balance your hormones, first of all, is understanding how can you nourish your female physiology in a way that is made for you, in a way that is going to fuel your female body, and how can you train your body so that you get the physical results, so that you get the energy results, you get the happiness results, the hormonal, release results, serotonin, the everything, in an effective way, right? That works for the female body. And another piece that we really focused on here is stress reduction, right? So first and foremost, starting with breath work in our masterclass today was our way to help you get grounded and centered and be in a place where maybe you can absorb a little bit more information. Maybe you can feel deeper into your body, into your intuition, and sense what you might need to do next, what area of your life might have a little bit of a hole to fill, that you can focus on, that you can help strengthen. And the thing about stress reduction is that the individual, you, are the number one person in control of that, responsible for that. Yes, our environment, people we hang out with, people around us that we can't control, family, things like that, there may be patterns of that being stressful for us, right? However, our cultivation of practices to become less and less affected, negatively affected by whatever anybody else is doing around us, can literally make worlds of difference in our stress reduction. Because here's the thing, the only reason stress exists is because there are potential stressors that we allow to become stress in our lives. Your mom is not stressful. Your mom might stress you out, but maybe some of her actions are potential stressors, and your response to them and how you handle them is I don't like the word control. I don't like to say in your control, but it is up to you to figure out how to manage it as best you can, because the likelihood that mom is going to change in any way is up to her. It's her life. And your ability to manage how you respond or react to certain situations or people is up to you. Bye.